From worst to best, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time boss battles. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time is widely regarded as one of the greatest games of all time. With an emphasis on adventure and creative battles, the Legend of Zelda series is a perfect candidate for from worst to best. Today, we're going to analyze each of the big bosses in Ocarina of Time and rank the bosses from worst to best. Before we begin, let's take a look at the determining factors of how these bosses are ranked. Number 1, the battle itself, how it plays, and its strategies. Number 2, how does the battle affect the main character at the time of the fight? Number 3, the lore behind the boss. And number 4, the boss's design and setting. Keep in mind that name pronunciations may be different than how you may say them, and also keep in mind that this video has major spoilers and information regarding the game. Most of you have probably already beaten it anyway, so let's get started, beginning with the boss battle that is ranked the lowest. Morpha. The demon itself was a small glowing sphere, but the nucleus could command the seas to form a tentacle of water. The giant aquatic amoeba Morpha is a demonic nucleus able to control water. Morpha appears to be the cause of the Hylian Lake's drought and is the boss of the illustrious Water Temple. A creature able to manipulate water is a fantastic concept in theory, however its prowess fails in execution in this battle. By this point in the game, Link is experienced enough not to stand still when a monster attacks. With a little bit of patience and the ability to be light on your feet, this boss is a breeze. Link is able to long-shot the nucleus of Morpha and slash it to ribbons. The boss design and setting of this battle is a bit of a letdown after the challenges the Water Temple gives to some people, especially when it could trade places with the greatly revered mini-boss of this temple and have the entire experience be much more well-regarded. Baronade. A nucleus of throbbing nerves surrounded by a living shell of berry was the only thing that stood between Link and the exit from Jabu Jabu's digestive system. The bioelectric anemone Baronade turns out to be the cause of Lord Jabu Jabu's illness as a result of Ganondorf's curse. In this battle, Link is literally battling a virus. This is Link's third major battle, and by now, the player should be able to decipher patterns the bosses can throw. Baronade attacks with electricity and an outer shell of berry. Link needs patience and timing in order to stun Baronade with his boomerang. Baronade's design seems to be one of the weakest in the game, due to it being more of a biological creature as opposed to a traditional monster. However, the setting inside Lord Jabu Jabu is quite unique, and the battle itself can be a little tricky. Regardless, this battle acts as an important experience for Link as he takes one step closer to the Master Sword. Volvagia. The island was punctured with several holes, and the serpent would peek its head out of them to lash out at Link. The subterranean lava dragon Volvagia is a legendary creature in Hyrule. Known to exist from the ancient times, Volvagia is known for terrorizing the Goron race in particular, going as far as devouring them whole. It is told that Volvagia was defeated by the Goron hero of legend, an ancestor of Darunia, with the Megaton Hammer, but he is revived by Ganondorf as a result of the Gorons refusing to surrender to him. Though Volvagia's backstory is excellent, as well as his initial design, he falls into a situation where expectations do not quite meet reality. Volvagia could have benefited from being a lot larger in the game than he turned out to be. He doesn't appear to be able to swallow a Goron whole after all the hype. Regardless, he can be a slightly menacing figure in Link's giant whack-a-mole-esque battle in this intense volcanic lair. Link's biggest threat is getting tangled up in Volvagia as he flies around, as well as when he unleashes boulders from above. This battle is a notch in Link's belt, proving that he is becoming powerful enough to take on ancient threats. King Dodongo. King Dodongo roared, then stomped forward, unimpressed by the puny child before him. The infernal dinosaur King Dodongo was sent to the caverns located right below Goron City by the evil King Ganondorf. Ganondorf blocked off the entrance to the cavern, which holds the Goron's food supply. When Link attempts to retrieve the Goron's ruby, Darunia refuses, stating that Link will be given it if he proves his worth by clearing Dodongo's cavern and defeating the monsters inside. The King Dodongo battle acts as a chance for Link to prove his worth, and use his wits to outsmart a monster that should probably outclass him. King Dodongo uses Fire Breath and somersaults of brute force to attack. In order to match him, Link uses his newfound Goron bracelets, Hyrulean shield, and bombs. Hurling bombs in his mouth before he blasts his fire hurts him inside, stunning him, and allows Link an opportunity to carve him up. King Dodongo's design is exactly what you'd expect from a giant dinosaur, but he gets a bonus point for his graphic death in the fiery pits. The only thing holding this guy back is the fact that he's incredibly easy to defeat. Queen Goma. As Link walked through the door, Goma roared into action. The monstrosity eclipsed Link, leaving no chance for victory unless he found a weakness. The parasitic armored arachnid Queen Goma is the very first boss in Ocarina of Time. While an easy battle, Goma sets the standard early on for what a good boss fight is. Link's sword is useless in this battle unless Goma is stunned with a slingshot pellet to the eye. Once stunned, Goma can be attacked full force with your Kokiri sword or Deku stick, but if you give Goma too much time, she will sprout her larvae in an attempt to defeat Link. Goma is a parasitic creature that Ganondorf used to infect the Great Deku Tree after the tree's refusal to give Ganondorf the Kokiri's emerald. This battle may have had a lasting psychological effect on Link. Even though Goma was defeated, she takes the Great Deku Tree with her in death. Goma has an interesting design and provides a dark, eerie setting perfect for an introduction boss, while being intimidating enough for a young player to overcome. Twin Rova. After several hits, the sisters combined into a single entity that fired both fire and ice spells. Deep in the Spirit Temple await the Sorceress Sisters. The surrogate mothers of the King of Evil act as the bosses of the Spirit Temple. Using his newly found Mirror Shield, Link must use it to absorb the elements of ice and fire and blast the opposite element at the opposing witch, fire to ice and ice to fire. After a few rounds of this, the Wicked Sisters fuse into a single entity. The fused entity Twin Rova has a sleek and intimidating design. Power is literally surging out of her. When fighting the combined Twin Rova, Link must charge up the same element to his shield 3 times in a row in order to send a devastating blast back at Twin Rova, stunning her and bringing her to your level, and more importantly, to your blade. This boss is very memorable and cinematic. However, all it really takes is timing and shielding. As one of the final challenges before facing Ganondorf, this battle could have had a little bit more to give. Regardless, it is a monumental display of magical prowess and provides Link an opportunity to test his skills. Link is now proving a powerful threat to Ganondorf's forces, and this blow would hit Ganon close to home. Ganon. The Triforce of Power flickered to life. The sacred relic awakened the fallen warrior, granting Ganondorf a new body that reflected his twisted heart. After Link and Zelda narrowly escape the destruction of Ganon's tower, with everything seeming to finally be over, Ganondorf bursts from the rubble, initiating an intimidating transformation into Ganon. The drama is high for Link, as he is separated from Zelda and the Master Sword, and his true test of skill comes to play as he needs to find alternative means to take this monster down. Light arrows, Deku Nuts, the Megaton Hammer, and the arguably best choice, the Bigoron Sword, can all damage Ganon's tail. You can also stun him by striking his face with the long shot or light arrows. Mid-battle, Link can reacquire the Master Sword, and once the Sages and Zelda stun Ganon for good, the Master Sword can be used to strike the final blow. The atmosphere is fantastic in this battle, with a dark and ominous setting. It does a great job at making it seem like the battle is all or nothing. Ganon is the largest monster in the game by far, with a powerful presence and intimidating design. This battle is a great final test, and easily one of the best and most memorable battles in the game. Bongo Bongo. While Link charmed the elements with his ocarina, the dead danced to the beat of a different drum. Bongo Bongo, the shadow that plagued Kakariko Village, was a musical menace from beyond. Bongo Bongo was sealed away by Impa prior to the events of Ocarina of Time, and eventually escapes after Ganondorf gains power over Hyrule. The Phantom Shadow Beast Bongo Bongo is one of the more interesting characters in Zelda, with many theories as to who he is, the story behind his decapitation, and whether or not he is connected to the Hyrulean Civil War. There are many hints regarding the royal family and Hyrule's bloody history within the Shadow Temple and the Well. When Bongo Bongo initially escapes from his prison in the Well, both Sheik and Link are unable to stop him from reaching the Shadow Temple. His setting is unique, with the battle occurring on top of a large drum. His design is also unique, as he appears to be decapitated with removed hands. Link needs to out-strategize and outwit Bongo Bongo using a mix of arrows, slashes, and long-shot strikes to parry his hand attacks, the Lens of Truth to reveal him, and his sword to put him to rest. Interestingly enough, Bongo Bongo has the highest health out of all the bosses in Ocarina of Time. Link defeating Bongo Bongo is a definitive accomplishment and puts his skill level on par with Impa. Ganondorf. Ganondorf needed only to pull the Triforce of Courage from Link's body, and he would control the power of the goddesses. One of the most memorable moments in Ocarina of Time is Link's ascension up the stairs in Ganon's tower, inching his way up while the ominous organ playing grows louder and louder. This battle is the culmination of everything Link has been working for throughout the game, and the seemingly final test of skill and experience. Ganondorf was the only male-born Gerudo in 100 years, making him king. Due to certain fascinating and debatable circumstances, Ganondorf has targeted Hyrule in an attempt to acquire the Triforce. His design in Ocarina of Time is an iconic look for the King of Evil, and he is quite an intimidating figure compared to everyone else in the game. The fight with the King of Thieves Ganondorf has the most epic battle music in the entire game, simultaneously providing an intense setting and heightened drama. Ganondorf's main strategy in the battle is the Dead Man's Volley, but also has a thunderous punch if you get close to him, and occasionally he will launch a giant black hole blast. Ganondorf is so powerful that he can knock down sections of the flooring with a single attack. The strategy of this battle is actually quite simple. Stay back, volley his blast with your sword or a bottle, and nail him with a light arrow once he is struck by his own blast. In doing so, he will be staggered and susceptible to your blade. As long as Link keeps moving or stays in the corner of the room, Ganondorf shouldn't be able to harm him too badly. As a special bonus of this battle, Ganondorf's cape gets more and more holes in it as the battle continues. What a fantastic touch. The best. Phantom Ganon. In the final room of the Forest Temple, the mounted Phantom of Ganon galloped out of a painting and leapt into the chamber. The evil spirit from beyond, Phantom Ganon, strides forward as the best Ocarina of Time boss. Phantom Ganon was a puppet created for the sole purpose to follow orders and serve Ganondorf as a merciless killer, haunting the Forest Temple and taking Saria captive. The Forest Temple acts as Adult Link's first real test, with a battle creative and execution. Phantom Ganon will ride his horse through the paintings on the walls in an attempt to disorientate Link. Link needs to blast the Phantom with an arrow as it rides out of the correct painting. This battle doesn't end there, however. Once you figure out his pattern, he eventually leaves his horse behind and decides blasting you point blank is the better strategy. This dead man's volley is far closer than the one with the real Ganondorf, and is in some ways more intense. Phantom Ganon's design is very much like the regular Ganondorf's, but with a skull mask over a dark shadowy mist and a powerful lance. As stated before, this is Adult Link's first real test, and may be the battle that sparks the attention of the evil King Ganondorf. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. It took a lot of time and effort. Be sure to look out for the future. I have a few more Ocarina of Time videos, and be sure to check out all my other stuff and subscribe to the channel. Get in touch. Thanks again, everybody. Alright, so there's a guy right there. You know what? I'm going for it.